Hey parents, happy Teenager Tuesday. Will Perry back again with right in the middle, part 3 of this series called What My Parents Did Well, where we are interviewing students of Hope Fellowship who just graduated. And with us today is Sutton Stewart. What's up, brother?
Nothing much. I'm excited to be here, ready to go.
Yeah, that's good. Tell us, Sutton, tell us about yourself. How long have y'all been coming to Hope? What's your family like? What are you doing now that you're graduated?
So I am 18, obviously freshly graduated. I'm going to Tarleton State University. Very grateful to have been blessed with a track scholarship. So I will be participating in track there for high jump. And I'm really looking forward to that. My parents, they've had us been going to Hope for, I don't know, it's been, I want to say close to 7 years now.
Yeah.
And we've been serving since Prosper was at the high school.
Yes.
And now they're at their own campus, obviously, for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I was Ford's younger brother.
Yeah.
I was his small group leader for a few years. It's great.
Yeah, now I think it's
he's
David.
great, dude.
It's David now.
David and Aaron.
Yeah.
Yes.
He loves David.
Phenomenal
I
dudes.
love David. Amazing guy.
They just had their baby.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
He looks adorable.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, back on the podcast, Sutton. What's tell me about something. I've enjoyed this question, which is, what is a rule that your parents had that you did not like at the time or at the beginning of the rule? You're like, I don't like this, but now looking back, you're like, okay, I can see the benefits of that rule. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. So I actually have two, but I'm going to go with the one that shows up continuously every single day of my life. And that is consistency. My parents, regardless of how I felt, regardless of how they felt, we would always go to church. Yeah. We'd always go to youth, and we'd ingrain that habit of you show up no matter how you feel. It's more about your actions and how you exemplify the Lord in what you're bringing up. And most of the time what I've noticed is that whenever I don't want to go to youth and whenever I'm just like, oh, I want to stay in bed or I want to play games or I want to go play basketball instead, it's like I always get the most out of it. The message always seems mostly directed at me, which obviously it's just the Holy Spirit talking, but I've noticed that whenever I don't want to go and my parents make me, it's more meaningful and it's, like I said, it ingrains that habit of I'm going to go regardless of how I feel and I'm going to show up for the Lord, not myself.
Yeah. Well, and before we started recording, I told you I wanted to ask you about sports because as an athlete, somebody who's really into it and needs to be to get that scholarship. One thing that you said was I said, tell me about if you missed, like how much church did you miss because of sports? And what did you say?
I didn't miss that much church because of sports because I was able to orient my schedule around church. Yeah. And especially with my newest coach, he was also a Christian. He was like, I'll do Sundays, but I always told him like after church. And he was like, completely understandable. I don't want to do that either. I would love to go to church instead of kind of focusing on that. And the beautiful thing about me doing high jump for the last 4 or 5 years since 7th grade, which is insane to say, I've been alone with myself, which means I've been able to kind of do my own practice schedules. I've been able to orient my workout times around what I see fit versus my priorities. And one of my priorities is obviously making it to youth and church on time. And I've been very blessed to have been able to orient my schedule around youth so where I don't miss it at all.
Yeah. Well, and one thing I asked you after that was, so was church optional? No. And you're like, no, never. No. And I was like, well, that's probably why you even had the thought of, well, I'm going to do high jump. I'm going to do it all the way. And you went really far even into like the track season.
Yeah.
You set your school record. Like I posted about it, your name is on the board. And yet in your mind, you're like, man, this is a big deal for me. But because of my parents making me go to church, even at times that I was tired or didn't want to, you're like, no, now it's in me and I'm going to change my schedule around that.
100%. It was a really big goal of mine to stay consistent with God. And obviously I'm human, I fall off a lot and that's just kind of how it goes. But the fact is that I try to get back up, and especially with my parents continuously encouraging me and I guess making me go to church, it's just been an absolute game changer. And church was never an option. Yeah. It was something that you did.
You also have a great church to go to. It's so easy.
Amazing.
It's the best church.
It's very easy.
Yeah, John on Weekend said voted #1 church in America. So.
Oh, look at that.
He's joking. But, I know your dad pretty well. And I know he's a very conversational person.
Yeah,
right?
You can have an amazing convo with him.
Yeah, tell me, how do you feel like, even going into the teenage years, how do you feel like he stayed relevant with you in those conversations, stayed connected more than, you know what I mean? More than just talking, but it's a like connection.
One of the things that I love that I want to do whenever I'm a parent is I want to check up on my child, and it's letting them know that they're seen, they're heard, and they're understood. And my dad has done a terrific job of doing that. He loves to ask about me. He wants to see what I'm doing. He wants to see how I'm feeling about a certain thing, especially with relationships in the past. That's been a point of contention in our relationship as father-son because I want to do it my way, and then he's giving me really good life advice and really encouraging me to go another way. But the way that he stayed relevant in this entire thing is that he checks up on me. He asks how I'm doing. He wants to be involved in what I'm doing because he loves me. And I love the fact that he cares so much. It makes me feel seen. It makes me feel heard, and it makes me feel really understood whenever he asks about how my day was. And then I can talk with him about it. And then also we're very like-minded, so we're able to just have a conversation, just flow. And we love talking about deep conversational topics.
Yeah.
So then we can branch off into other things that then connect into other branches of our life. So it works out very well.
Yeah, no, that's cool. With him giving you advice, what was his kind of parenting style when it came to giving you the freedom to make the choice? Like, hey, this is just my advice, but it's your decision. But also at the same time, trying to guard you and protect you and, keep you from some mistakes that you really shouldn't make here. You know what I mean? Like, how did he kind of balance that?
So my dad was, we talked about this morning actually, and he's led out of a lot of fear, out of who I can become possibly just because of like what he's gone through and what he's especially seen. And he hasn't let me go as much as he'd hoped, as he said, but the thing about it is that he's kept me so close that it's drawn me towards him and especially our family. And that's been an absolute blessing because even if I make a mistake, I'm able to go talk with him about it. We're not isolated. We're not rigid towards each other. It's a very beautiful dynamic that we have. And as much as I would love to have gone and made some mistakes, the fact is that
you would love to go make mistakes. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And obviously it's not those big mistakes that you're thinking. It's just more like lying to somebody or doing something like that. It's more basic stuff that can then lead into deeper things. He's always been there to kind of guide and protect me. And sometimes he's been helicopter, but I think I'd rather have a helicopter rather than a parent that just says, just go do whatever you want and deal with what you're given.
Yeah. There's advice that I've given to a lot of parents over the years, which is sometimes parents can feel this pressure when their kid gets into middle school, into the later years of high school, of like, oh, we need to give them the freedom. So I need to let them like kind of do their own thing, where I try to advise, like, always be a student of your student, which is like learning more about who they are and what are they currently into, what's going on with friend groups. And it sounds like your dad has done a great job of that. Yeah,
he's done a lot of things that have been absolutely exceptional comparing to other parents. It's just like my dad is very different. And like I said, if I'm talking bad about him, it's because we spoke about this, and he has said that he's made a lot of mistakes, obviously, especially with maybe being a little bit too protective, or maybe fearing or leading out of a bit too much fear to where it's kind of maybe he's held me back from too much of the world. But I've also seen enough to understand a lot, but also there's so much that I still need to learn.
Yeah.
And he's helped me to accept that, and especially with accepting accountability for my actions. That's been
tell us more about that. What do you mean when you say he's helped me learn to accept accountability for my actions? Tell us more.
So one of the things that my dad has always done that's been exceptional, he's always come back to me after an argument or disagreement. He's apologized. He's owned up for his part. He's admitted his fault, and that's one of my favorite qualities of him. He's able to humbly just admit his fault, and that's carried on to a lot of other areas of my life, to where I have become that in a way, to where I can't leave an argument just bad. I can't leave tension in the air because I know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And especially I always think about this, and I've always repeated this since I was probably like 7 years old. It's like whenever King David says, do not let the sun go down in your anger. And it's like going to sleep at night knowing that something's wrong or that I'm upset with somebody. I'd rather just wake up and deal with it and own my part, and then understand how I can then approach the next argument or next disagreement with, well, if I did this wrong before, I don't want to do it wrong again, because then that shows that the person that I'm arguing with wasn't heard the last time, and they're not seen for who they are. They're seen as maybe what I can use them for. In a way.
Ending kind of today, if Mr. and Mrs. Sutton were listening to this podcast, what would you say to them on a, like, I guess, encouraging side, appreciation side? What would you say to your parents?
I would say that they've done an exceptional job of keeping up with me, and even though I've been very combative at some points, it's been enough to where I can come back and they're still with me. They haven't left me.
Yeah.
They haven't just been like, oh, we're just gonna not parent you and you gotta go deal with the consequences of your actions. They've let me do that in some areas of my life. Other areas they haven't, but I just want to send out encouragement to the fact that they always show up and they always love me, especially my mom. My mom is an amazing human being, and she's shown me so much of what it means to truly be loved, and what just God's love is shown through somebody else.
Yeah.
And my dad, I love my dad, and I love the conversations we've had, and I always will look up to him.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah. Dude, parents, I hope you're encouraged throughout this series. We have a few more episodes to get to also. For now, always remember, you can do this. You're not alone. God is with you, and so are we. Have a great week.